Hey YouTube, Mobile Gamers Unite. I wanted to talk about my favorite character in this game, and it's gotta be Bozel. I gotta throw it up for my buddy Bozel. He is just great. He was one of the first SSRs I pulled. I got him and Lana on one single 10 pull, so it was cool because it was dual rainbows. So he's a monster. Mine's at 4,000 power level, and let's see, what is he ranked? I see his power go way up, so I can't be that. Yeah, he's ranked 113, so that's not bad. But even at this power level, he's just crazy good. His talent is amazing. It replaces your intelligence with magic defense. Other units use, magic defense and stuff to add something to their intelligence. This actually replaces your intelligence. So when you're using an item like Purgatory, this staff right here, where it says intelligence plus 2%, when dealing damage at the end of the next turn, the enemy takes fixed damage. So it applies a sticky bomb, and it does that with 1.2 times the hero's intelligence. For this, it would use Bozel's magic defense times 1.5. So it works really well. He attaches just a huge sticky bomb onto the enemy, and it really helps Bozel out, because I like Bozel as a fusion thrower. Okay, he kind of works from the shadows. He's not supposed to be in the direct center of combat. That's just not a good idea for him. And he's really good at killing mages, so he doesn't take that much magic damage. And I mean, for physical, he has Stone Colossus, these golems. Let's see, let's bring them up. These guys are awesome. They have a lot of health. They can take some physical attacks, and they protect Bozel against cavalry, which is really important, because you do not want a cavalry unit to take out, an important character like Bozel. And he's prone to it. If you got the sorceresses and you're doing a little bit more damage single target, I mean, usually I run the Stone Colossus personally. It's just good to have that safety net of hit points and defense. But some people like to run sorceress because they get a little bit more attack, but that's only when you're engaging in combat. So when you're throwing your AoEs, which is what Bozel does, and using your fusion power, you're not really using sorceresses all that much. So to me, I go with the Stone Colossus just for more health, but it's up to you guys. And a lot of it's situational too. So let's look at equipment real quick, or go back to equipment. I do have the Galaxy Cloak on him, and I have Death's Robe as well. And Death's Robe, I mean, I can go back and forth, but I like the Galaxy Cloak, and I think it ends up with better stats. I haven't looked into it, I'm pretty sure, but Death's Robe is on Leaden, just because, I mean, it does so much for a tank. It's an awesome robe to have on Leaden. So Bozel ended up with the Galaxy Cloak, which, I mean, it didn't really drop his power level. They're right around the same. Everything I have is level 20 for him, so I'm at the point in the game where I pretty much have all the units I want, and now it's time to start actually getting up their gear level, so I can really get into the nitty-gritty of endgame content. So, because I'm putting SSR gear on SR characters now. A lot of this gear could be a higher level if I had just combined any of the duplicates that I had, but all my dupes went out to SR characters. So it's for the good of the guild, and what are you going to do? But the Dark Crown is really good on Bozel. A lot of magic defense, and it gives him some health too, which always helps. And the Veil of Light, of course, magic defense. Everything you want to do with this character is magic defense. I've had people ask me hey, should I do intelligence and magic defense as well? And for some characters you want to build them like that, but not for Bozel, because his intelligence score just does not count at all because it gets replaced with magic, defense, whatever. You're not adding on to it. So therefore you want items that give you magic defense instead of intelligence. So that's important to remember when you're making a Bozel, is that you don't want anything that's giving you intelligence at all. So, but this is my Bozel, and he's amazing for Guild War. I love running him. Like I said, I like the fact that he can run around with the fusion, and let's talk about his fusion real quick. As long as the enemy has debuffs on him, 3 of them, you increase the damage you do by 15%, and that's for 4 turns, of course. So what's really, really awesome about that is I can control that. I can almost always guarantee that you're gonna be throwing debuffs and you're gonna be debuffing things, because for a lot of end-game content, it is absolutely necessary. So you're throwing those debuffs out already. And with either Empire or especially the Dark Reincarnation faction, there's a lot of debuffers in there, and there's a lot of heroes, and even some of their troops, you know, will debuff you. So they're out there, they're all over the place, and they're commonly used, so this adds to them. It's just awesome. So, you know, with some faction powers, you have to worry about not getting the 15-20% damage. Like if you go with Empire and you don't get attack priority, then yeah, you get some stat boosts from your fusion power, but you're not actually getting that extra 15-20% damage, which is what you really want. I mean, it's crucial. For endgame content, you have to get that extra 20% damage in there, or you're just not going to make the cut. So that's how I feel about that. And Bozel is just awesome with a fusion power, because I don't want any of my attackers to have a fusion on them and actually use that instead of just attacking. I want my attackers attacking every turn and using offensive abilities that increase their damage, things like that, while doing damage. So, like, really, he fits the role of somebody that should have a fusion power. He's like, he can throw some AoEs, and that's going to be your bread and butter, and he's really going to debuff everybody a lot with that. But you can also do some single target damage and do some headhunting with Bozel. So that Purgatory Staff, I wish it stacked with AoE abilities. I really wish it, you know. And if you kind of read the description, it almost, like when I first got it, I was excited. I was like, oh, I can throw AoEs now, and it's going to put a sticky on everybody. It doesn't work like that. It only puts a sticky on somebody if you're actually engaging them in combat. So at least that's how it works, you know. But there's been already game mechanics in this game that haven't worked right, so you never know. But regardless, Bozel's still awesome with that Purgatory Staff. Anytime he attacks somebody, and he's going to be attacking with a high attack, and he's typically going to be attacking something that's already debuffed, and he's going to do more damage to it. So, and even without the sorceresses, I mean, he destroys things by himself. So really, that's more or less why I really run him with the golems. I've tried to go back and forth between them and the sorceresses. It's just not worth the damage. So I might have to look back into that, though, because I leveled up the sorceresses. That. So they should do a lot more. I have some math to do with him, but I honestly think I'm going to stick with those golems no matter what. It's just so good to have that cushion there for him. So this is my Bozel. I hope you guys like him. I'm going to be doing some other reviews pretty soon. I want to do some SR characters. Freya, she's awesome. And even Edgar. Edgar is really awesome. He's really viable, and a lot of people just, like, my one buddy just said he doesn't like the way he looks, so he's not going to use him. He's like, he's an old man. I'm like, that's awesome. He's an old wizard. Come on. Like, the dude's dedicated. I mean, he literally sacrificed his life for something or another in the storyline. Regardless, and I just don't see him really being that popular. But the thing is, I really like his talent, and I think it's just awesome. So not a lot of people talk about him, not a lot of people use him, so I thought maybe I'd do a video on him. And we also have Gerald and Layla. They are, where are they? They are said to be the worst SSR characters in the history of SSR characters. So, and I do think that that's a myth. You know, I think some people like really just weren't that happy with how this character came out, and a lot of people just talked bad about them, and it just became the general consensus that this is not a good SSR character. But I gotta tell you, this character has become a lot more viable lately because Juggler came out, and Juggler and him are in the same faction, and if you run them together, you can amass a great amount of power. It's ridiculous what one of those parties can do. So I think the next video I do is going to be about that. So I got some more content coming out. Your boy's not getting lazy, don't worry about it. So Mobile Gamers Unite, I'm out. Have a good night, people.